We hear all the time that AI is going to change everything. But what if it's built on a foundation of, well, lies? How do we build an AI we can actually trust, not just for trivia, but for our businesses, our health, the really critical decisions? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the technology that's turning AI from a creative, but kind of unreliable guesser into a genuine fact-checker.
So let's start with the big one. Why do these AI chatbots lie with such unshakable confidence? I'm sure you've seen this yourself, right? You get an answer that's perfectly phrased, sounds super smart, and is just completely, utterly wrong. This thing, it's called hallucination, is the single biggest wall standing between AI and it being truly useful in high-stakes situations.
And this really nails the problem. A standard AI is kind of like a student who didn't study for a test. It's just trying to fill in the blanks from memory, making stuff up as it goes. A human expert, on the other hand, they don't just rely on what's in their head. They go to their sources, they double-check the facts. We need to teach AI to have that same discipline.
And the solution is this really clever architecture called RAG. Honestly, the best way to get it is to think of it as giving the AI an open book test for every single question you ask. It forces the AI to ground every single answer in cold, hard, verifiable reality.
Okay, so what does RAG stand for? It's retrieval-augmented generation. And what it does is fundamentally change how an AI comes up with an answer. Instead of just diving into its own vast and, let's face it, sometimes flawed memory, it does something else first. Before it even thinks about writing a response, it first goes and retrieves the relevant info from a trusted, private database.
I mean, think about it. You wouldn't want a doctor diagnosing you from memory alone, would you? Of course not. You'd want them to look at your chart to check the latest research. RAG is that chart, it's that textbook for the AI. It can just look up the right answer instead of being forced to guess.
And the process for traditional RAG is beautifully simple. First, you ask your question. But here's the crucial part. The system doesn't immediately send it to the creative language part of the AI. Nope. Instead, it first searches your private documents, your company's internal wikis, manuals, reports, whatever, for the exact information it needs. And only then, armed with actual facts, does the AI generate an answer that's useful and, most importantly, accurate.
So this isn't just some cool academic theory. This is the tech that is finally making AI ready for business. Because for any serious company out there, getting reliable, verifiable answers isn't just nice to have, it's completely non-negotiable.
And this is exactly why. A standard AI is it's a liability. You can't build a business on information that is confidently wrong. RAG is the technology that takes that AI from being an unreliable guesser and turns it into a genuinely trustworthy assistant.
Let's make this super concrete with a real-world example, just to see how powerful this is. Imagine an AI system built for a medical clinic. I mean, in this scenario, the stakes could not possibly be higher. So a patient calls after hours with this really urgent, really specific question. An AI just inventing medical advice here wouldn't just be wrong, it would be an absolute catastrophe. A standard chatbot is a massive, massive liability.
But a RAG system? It handles this perfectly. It doesn't use its general internet knowledge. No way. It searches the clinic's own uploaded manuals. It finds Dr. Smith's precise post-op instructions, and then it generates a safe, accurate response based only on that verified text. It doesn't guess, it knows.
Solving high-stakes problems like that is an incredible baseline. But a simple lookup is really just the beginning. RAG is evolving at a wild pace, so let's take a look at where this amazing technology is headed next.
So right now, in 2024, we have that traditional, pretty linear RAG pipeline. But the whole field is charging towards something called Agentic RAG, where the AI gets a lot more autonomy. And then, looking even further out, things like graph RAG and multimodal RAG will let an AI understand information in ways that, well, we're only just starting to wrap our heads around.
So, what on earth is Agentic RAG? Well, it's all about giving the AI agency. So instead of just following a rigid step-by-step process, the AI agent itself decides if it needs to search for info, where it should look, and it can even critique the data it finds. It's not just a retriever anymore, it's a thinker. And then you have graph RAG, which is the next massive leap. It doesn't just find keywords in documents. It actually understands the complex relationships between ideas across thousands of documents. So for example, you could ask, hey, which of our engineers have worked on similar projects before? GraphRag can actually map out those hidden connections from hundreds of different files to give you one single synthesized answer. It sees the invisible web of connections in your data.
And what does this deep level of understanding lead to? The results are pretty staggering. We're seeing advanced RAG techniques pushing enterprise accuracy toward 99%. Now that is the level of reliability that businesses have been waiting for.
And finally, there's multimodal RAG, which just breaks free from the limits of text altogether. This AI can pull information from images, from audio, even from specific moments inside of a video. This means you could literally ask, show me the part of last week's meeting recording where we talked about the Q3 revenue targets, and the AI can find that exact moment. It unlocks the knowledge hidden in all of your data.
Okay, now I know this all might sound incredibly complex, like something out of a sci-fi movie. But the tools being used to build these systems are actually surprisingly accessible. So let's take a quick peek under the hood.
Yeah, this really isn't science fiction, locked away in some university research lab. This whole ecosystem is robust, it's accessible, and it's largely built on Python, which is one of the most popular programming languages in the entire world.
Let's just quickly break down the stack. First, you've got orchestration tools like LangChain. Think of these as the plumbing that wires the whole system together. Then, embeddings models do this incredible thing. They turn your documents into a series of numbers or vectors. It's like giving every single piece of information its own unique address. A vector database is the specialized library that stores all those addresses and can search them at lightning speed. And finally, a powerful model like GPT-4o or Claude 3.5 generates the human-friendly response.
So, if there's one key thing to take away from all this, it's this. For any business-to-business application where accuracy and trust are absolutely critical, RAG is the essential foundation. It's what separates a cool party trick from a truly reliable and game-changing tool.
And that leaves us with one final big thought to chew on. As RAG technology just keeps getting better and better, giving AI the power of an expert with instant, perfect recall, what's it going to mean for us to be knowledgeable? When the AI always has the textbook open, how does that change the test for the rest of us?